Welcome to the Bhandwagon Podcast, and this week I'm joined by I'm gonna just give you a little bit of background on this. So one of the philosophies that I kind of have is I try and grab people, especially as they're on the rise, because sometimes now when people get to the top, they don't want to know you anymore. So I'm investing, and hopefully our guest today hits top of that mountain, top of that tree, whatever your phrase that you want to do, because this industry, the music industry, especially the UK industry, is only as good as the effort, the way we nurture upcoming talent. So without further ado, welcome to Juss Nandhra.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, bro. And good to finally speak to you as well.
Yeah. I know we've been dilly-dallying over dates and days and stuff. It's a combination of your nightlife and my social life.
Yeah, weekends
Operating
get
at
too busy. Yeah,
almost operating at similar times of the day.
almost. Yeah, nearly.
So, just how have you found your journey into the UK Punjabi scene? Let's just put it that way.
What, from the start or like just
Yeah, from the start. You know, like your experiences as well.
experiences, bro? Like I've been into music from a very young age. I started learning tabla when I was really young. I didn't learn it for too long, but straight away after that, I picked up Dol, and I learned from basically Ministry of Dol, Prithpal. He was my stud, and yeah, just been having that passion. It's growing. I started gigging when I was like 14, 13 years old, and then from there, just sort of started making contacts in the industry, networking. Get to see like obviously DJs, get to see loads of venues, obviously performing at events and stuff like that. So obviously the interest was always there, and it just kept growing. But took a sort of a break when I was at uni. Obviously, living out and stuff. But yeah, so during that time as well, I was still gigging here and there. But I started sort of coming away from that sort of typical wedding sort of gig scene and going more into like performing with the Bhangra, like folk Bhangra teams, like with live bullying and stuff like that. And that is where sort of we used to go to gigs with like all of the group, and then we start having a jam before we actually start playing. So we always like singing, we're having like bowling sessions, obviously just vibing with everyone that is always there. And obviously that continuously grew on, and Holly for me as well. I was like, you know what, I want to sort of like get in with the jam and start singing and stuff. And then, yeah, sort of realized quickly that everyone was around me was like, "Oh, you got a really good voice!" Like, and for me as well, like, I've always had that passion because I listen to old Punjabi music, folk Punjabi, and that's where my inspiration mainly comes from in like terms of how I want to imitate myself in terms of the inspirations I get for singing. And yeah, bro. And from there, at the same time, my brother has been in Bhangra for a long time, so he being in that scene, but not into the music side of it. He started sort of getting into the music side of it when he, from his Bronco contacts, got into introduced to like music producers and stuff like that. So he started learning music as well. And then, long story short, he started learning, and then at the same time, I started singing, and then Holly, we just it just connected, and we were like, oh, let's do a track together, and then Talk of the Town happened.
So like there's so many different angles to go from here. Even a little bit similar to myself in terms of where you being involved in music from a young age, but you've kind of seen all aspects of kind of UK side in terms of the DJ side. You've also learned from a musical instrument, and then
Yeah,
you've taken it to kind of production and to singing.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that kind of passion's got to come from somewhere. You mentioned your brother H as well, right? So,
yeah.
where did the initial love for music come from? Is it something already in the family, or is it just kind of you two are kind of the first of the bunch?
We are actually, funny enough, the first of the bunch. No one actually in the family is sort of into music or into that sort of playing instruments and stuff, but we just have people in the family that love music, that they just appreciate sort of music. So growing up, I'd hear my dad listen to like Kwali, listen to like old school sort of like Sardul Sekantaji and stuff like that. So the inspirations were always there, and obviously you pick up on that sort of vibe that okay, cool, I'm seeing my dad like he's just enjoying something really that he likes, and because of what he's hearing and stuff, and you start understanding slowly like what it is that he's appreciating and what it is that you sort of looking out for it when the other person's singing, or there's music that is being played where it can move you, like it can move your emotions and stuff like that. So slowly, it was just like obviously just inspirations from everywhere, looking at my cousins, what they were listening to growing up, because growing up when you're little, you don't know like who's gonna obviously guide you into, like, obviously they're listening to like loads of, like, at the time, upcoming people, like you had obviously those days, we obviously RDB was popping at the time. We had Oman Haya, PBM, sorry, and yeah, obviously inspirations from everywhere, but mainly it was always going back to like sort of the old school folk, Binder Kia, Gulip Manak, Sadhu
Jinnah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, it's just always been there, bro. Like,
Is that because I got to do a kind of a sense check in terms of when it's very rare. Like, let's say you mentioned Oman Haya now, that at 23 years ago, I'm
yeah,
at university. I'm at university. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Where some of the new gen haven't been born then as well. So when some of those tracks come in, so when I'm thinking about is 20 years earlier, prior to that as well, at the same time.
yeah,
But to hear what some of your inspirations is really refreshing into to do, and there are elements already in your kind of music that you do, even your song choices, even Jugni that's come out, which is
yeah,
an old folk song, and your twist on it, and your brother's spin on on everything. You know what I mean? Because there's influences regardless of whoever you're going to release in the future, your brother's going to be involved anyway. It's like
yeah.
a Bally Boot, a Jagpal thing, right? Moving forward. What advantage do you think that you got from actually learning an instrument as well when you're thinking about a track to do?
I feel like when you start picking up on how to play an instrument, you can easily figure out sort of what sort of sound you want, because you're already sort of listening to so many instruments yourself. Because performing with other musicians, you have to sort of work with the other musician in terms of what sort of beat you come into, you listen to how they're playing, and what matches. And obviously, the key of something, for example, like when you're playing harmonium baja, and how you're singing to it, the key has to match. So when obviously coming from a drumming background, you can easily pick up beats. You can easily pick up what's out of beat, what's in beat. You can easily pick up what goes with another instrument as well. So I feel like the advantages come is like straight away. It's like when we go into the studio, a lot of times we just put on a beat, and whatever we feel like, that's where the inspiration comes from. Really, it's like what are you feeling with this beat? What goes with this beat? What can match and sound really good with it? So I feel like that's the advantage you get, because straight away it just comes to you. I'm always playing Dawl in my head, so
Yeah.
I'm always sort of like, oh, this is in beat, that's out of beat, or that. It's just always going.
Yeah, I used to, when I used to play Dole, and as as you start getting more heavily involved, when a new song used to come out, I never used to be able to hear the vocals. I always used to hear the percussion straight away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is that still the same for you?
It is always the same, bro. Like every single time something comes on, I'm listening to the drums straight away, and obviously like everything else in between. But it's like second nature now. It just comes into your head straight away. Yeah.
We've seen a bit of a boom with UK singers as well coming through the market. Not as much in terms of like the UK musicians out there. There are Two Vicious, there's Kira, door players. There's a few people dotted around.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get your opinion in terms of one of the reasons you've also kind of blown up as well is because the use of your social media in terms of the use of cover songs and how and the way that your ability to utilize and engage with your audience. Is there a strategy behind that where you see other people might not necessarily be able to use it?
Personally, bro, not really. There's no strategy at the moment. I'm just going with what I sort of analyze myself. I've not been really a big sort of social media person. But prior to this, I was literally just low key. I like being low key. No one knows my business. Just carry on doing what I'm doing. But obviously, in terms of getting yourself out there, you have to start posting. You have to obviously start engaging with audience and stuff like that. For me, it was really like as soon as I start posting, I want to show people, sorry, what my vision is in music, and for me, having that sort of, I think networking is the key part of it because you have to have that social circle as well. That obviously they can obviously shout you out, they can put you out there, and obviously their friends pick up on it, and then it's like bigger circles and stuff, and that's how you sort of reach. That's what I've learned from my experience, and lucky enough, I had that sort of network just before I even got into music and putting myself out there. So it's definitely something that I'm still learning. I'm still picking up on things. I'm still like, oh, like, let me try this, let me try that. But at the moment, because I'm independent, I'm doing everything by myself. It's for me a learning journey, which I like. I want to make mistakes. I want to learn and carry on growing on how I can sort of grow my audience, engage with them more and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the common themes that I've sort of focused on over the last sort of few months, especially with interviews with the older and newer artists, is about how sometimes you naturally can have talent, and talent always comes out, right? If you're destined to be the best, I always believe there's always a pathway there. But
Yeah.
sometimes you all get people who are on the cusp of breaking through, have got a lot of talent, but don't really cross over the line because of the fact of resources.
Yeah.
So we know that labels out there don't have huge amounts of money. A lot of people are more independent now, and it's become a resources game that if you've got a lot of money to do it, you could kind of get your material more and more out there.
100%. Yeah.
How have you kind of got around that? Did you have to learn particular skills yourself? You've got obviously your brother as well, and your team. How are you building a team of people around you in order to move your brand forward?
Yeah.
How's that operating for you?
Again, for me, it comes down to networking. I've had that sort of network. For example, like you've known Onkar, right? So I've known him for 10 years. By the way, whoever doesn't know Brit Asia, Mr. Brit Asia TV, Onkar.
Uncle will have his own episode. I've reassured him many times. Yeah, he's too big really to come on this on the podcast. That's all it is.
He's listening to you right now.
I know, I could tell.
Yeah, but yeah, bro. Basically, so obviously for me, lucky enough, I've had being in the industry from gigging in the industry, like playing at events and stuff. You get to know everyone, and yeah, so just having that network there is the main thing. I really think that gets you out there because I'm building my team naturally. For example, I've known one of my mates from years, but I haven't really got close to him until more recently, until like just before I released my song. And he's been actually helping me with loads of things, getting events, DJing at my events and stuff like that. So everyone's sort of slowly building together, but I like to keep my circle small, so it's people that I've known from the past that are like sort of in my close circle right now that are pushing everything out, that are helping me push out, and they are quality people as well. It's not just like any random sort of friend that is not really, they're just completely out doing something separate. Obviously, you have to pick the right people, pick people that you know that you can help them, they can help you, and you're going together. But yeah, that's really it really, and obviously you have to have sort of Gizmoth on your side as well, because there are a lot of people out there that have a lot of good talent, but they just don't have that sort of connection with how they're going to put themselves out, or like the right people to speak to and stuff like that. So yeah.
What was a young Juss like then?
Do you know what? I've just been an observer. Like I just observe. I'm very quiet, but like if I was to first meet you, I wouldn't really like be out there all the time. I like to watch people, not like that. Like obviously, just
yeah, just clarify that. Isn't it? No voice.
clarify
that. Yeah, Uncle's hanging around with you a bit too much.
Yeah, he only likes watching the things. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, bro. Really, just been quiet, observe people, see, like learning, always trying to learn from everyone. You know, because I always say this to everyone as well. Like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You should be around people that know more than you, so that you can learn from everyone. So I've always tried to be around people that obviously know more than me. That I've always hung around older people as well. Hence why I've just ended up networking with so many different sort of age groups and stuff. So yeah, it's just been sort of just floating through everything, really.
Yeah, it's one of the questions that, especially from people from down south, from Birmingham, where I like that a lot of the culture is very close together and knitted together, especially in the Midlands area.
Yeah.
Where I think it's a little bit more fractured in down south. So we could in Midlands, it was always you always knew what different camps were doing, and it wasn't hard. Do you feel that difference between down south compared to Midlands?
I do definitely think like Midlands, you've got more of a like everyone sticks together in that sort of scene. Whereas obviously down south, everyone's sort of like if you're from west, you're from west. If you're from east, you're from east. You get that sort of separation there with like, oh, these are East London boys, or these are. But obviously, in the end, it's like if you click with someone, you're gonna obviously just jam with them. You're gonna show love and respect. So I do feel like the Midlands is a bit more. Everyone's a bit like together.
Yeah, so you got kind of east and west, or from especially around the it hasn't got to kind of Tupac Biggie levels, has it?
Nah. I don't think it will.
Well, right, look, man.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna let's not put any nuzzle on that.
Yeah.
So going back to sort of your roots in that way, knowing of when you wanted to go into kind of the singing, did you get yourself on a start or a teacher in order to go down the singing route?
No, I didn't actually. It was just always just doing everything naturally, practicing myself really. I have obviously had people around me that have sung, like sort of my friends and stuff. So you get to sort of pick up a few things here and there, but it's always been sort of myself. And then I did end up learning from someone, but it was sort of like online sort of learning from someone and stuff. So it wasn't really in depth, but at the moment I'm sort of building myself up in terms of learning. I'm still at the start of my journey still. So yeah, there's a lot for me to learn. I'm not saying I'm the greatest singer. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm saying that I know I make mistakes with singing. Everyone does, but I'm still learning. So yeah, just learning really at the moment. Yeah.
So you've talked a lot about in terms of your inspirations around the type of music and especially around folk, right? Let's go down that side. But like your music taste might not, what you're delivering might not necessarily have that much folk instruments within there. How do you get that balance right, or is that a question more for your brother?
Yes, I feel like it's both of us together.
Yeah,
I'll call him that.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yo, H.
Sorry, H. We were just gossiping about you there. Welcome.
We said, how you
doing, bro? You all right?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
I'm good. I'll just ask a very unfair question to Juss to be honest, which was about how both of yours, I'm going to say, right? I'm going to assume that you probably have similar kind of inspirations around old folk music, or by the look that you're giving me, I'll probably be totally wrong. That when he's singing or choosing, especially a style of singing, it might be relating back to old traditional folk Bhangra music or Punjabi music, but the beats or whatever you do might not reflect that. How do you get the balance of using some Punjabi folk instruments and using Western beats?
Yeah, so that comes with like the love for both sides of music, so the English and the Punjabi side of music. So I listen to all types of music. You got the new stuff, which is like the Karnoj, like Sidhu Moosewala. But I love my old school folk music, so like the Kuldeep Manik, Surinder Shinda. So I've got into that a lot, like listen to all the old songs because I love the music. The authenticity of the music is like really, it's just up there. You can't beat that. And same thing on the English side. I love my old school hip hop as well. So those were the kind of like two things which I really loved. And obviously a lot of people have been doing it. So I had to find my own kind of way of doing it, whilst obviously blending my brother's vocals in there. So it's just experimenting with the two, just using different instruments, trying to create that beat and, make something good really from that.
What's the biggest challenge, and you can both answer this, of working with your brother in a studio?
I don't know.
Because I'll be like, when I'm with my brother, like
Yeah.
we can't walk past each other without punching each other on the arm. You can't imagine actually sitting down and working together.
I think it's like sometimes it's agreeing on what to do, like what sort of vibe to go into, because there's so many ideas that we have. It's like, oh, should we do this one or should we do that one? We might disagree, or like, oh no, this one sounds better than that. But other than that, it's like it's quite good. The workflow's there when we're recording vocals. If I'm like, no, you need to redo that, it kind of like you gel together to get it done. So it's not too bad.
More time, I feel like, is you bounce off each other's ideas, because I know he's listening to like all the beats and like putting his work into what he's doing, and then I'm putting my work into what I'm trying to do. So it's just like, okay, cool, I listen to you, listen to me. If I feel like that sounds better, then let's try it. If it doesn't, let's go back to your idea. It's sort of like just bouncing off each other kind of thing.
I think it's like vice versa as well. So like, even though he's the singer and I'm making the beat, he might tell me, oh no, that kick, or add another kick or something like that, or take that one away. So it's not just like me making the beat and him singing. I can tell him like, oh, sing this in this different way. It might sound better. So yeah, so it's just bouncing off each other really.
So from I want to ask you both the questions, but from a different angle, from a singer and producer point of view. Just for you first, yeah, what's your opinion of the scene now, especially the UK market?
For me, I feel like the scene is growing. It is starting to pick up, and it's starting to grow, because you've got a lot of like, obviously including myself, just loads of new singers, rappers, female singers, vocalists that are sort of coming up now. So I feel like that sort of era and scene that we had like a decade or so ago, I feel like it's starting to pick up again. We're starting to get back into like the garage scene as well. And obviously you got the likes of Diljit performing at Coachella. Like Coachella is a stage where they tell the world what is trending right now. And for them to have someone like Diljit there, it's like, it shows you and the whole world, like sort of Punjabi music is up there now. And especially obviously in the UK, you've got like sort of Raf, and then those of other new artists that are upcoming as well. So it is starting to grow in my eyes. I'm watching it grow, and I'm obviously happy to be part of it as well. So yeah.
Paige?
Yeah, for myself, I pretty much agree. I think UK is on the rise now. It's slowly getting there. It was obviously, you have the Canadian and the Punjabi scene in India is obviously massive compared to the UK, but it's definitely rising in terms of singers as well as producers as well, because as a producer myself, I network with a lot of other people. So, like people like A.S. Collard, he's coming up, so he's doing pretty good as well. There's a couple other producers as well. So definitely it's coming up in the UK.
What's been the biggest lessons that you've already learned, that they're probably from the good side of the industry and the bad side of the industry?
For me, I feel like the biggest thing, as I say, I'm still learning, is networking. That is the best thing that you can do, and keeping your circle small, because you want to grow with a team, and not just yourself, but you want to build yourself with people that want to build around you as well. And that is what keeps things organic and healthy with everyone around you. When you start sort of, I don't know, you don't have a good relationship with someone, and you sort of start working with this person and start working with that person, you start getting those sort of, it doesn't feel like you're working with family, if you get what I'm trying to say. It feels like, oh, like you're held accountable for something and you're not feeling right inside to work with someone and stuff like that. So for me, I feel like we're always going to be working together, and it feels more like home. Like I don't have to say, oh, call someone and be like, "Oh, can you change this in the beat?" I just tell him straight away, "Yeah, I'll do it right now."
Mm.
And it's that sort of network. And around us, it's always been a healthy sort of relationship with everyone. No one sort of got that, "Oh, I'm better than you," ego sort of mindset. Everyone, like, I've got DJs around me, I've got musicians around me, I've got like producers around me, other singers as well that are really good friends. And everyone we keep around us is people that are sort of on that sort of same energy, and we're trying to help each other grow, really. So if we feel like there's energy that is completely off, or we're like not feeling it, we just leave it to the side, keep moving. That's how it is, yeah.
And especially from a producer side, that could be some of the most toxic kind of areas to work, especially in the industry. Hey, how do you kind of put an umbrella yourself that you don't get involved in that side of things?
So it's very similar. Like, keep your circle small. Obviously, you see things from afar, like, all this politics stuff, but you don't get involved in it. Don't say too much in it. I'm just here to do my music. That's literally, passion is the music. Trying to release stuff that we love. That's literally what we're here for. So all of that other stuff, don't really get involved in it.
Yeah, you get loads of people as well, bro. Like, what I've realized anyway, like, start comparing you to other people and stuff like that, trying to like sort of create competition. I'm just like, allow it. Listen, I'm not here for that. I'm doing this for fun. If
Yeah.
people like it, they like it. If they don't, then no problem.
But
I
you
don't
naturally,
carry on.
you are going to naturally get that, though, isn't it? Because like
Yeah, you will.
every great producer, every great singer, always needed the other either a rival or a friendly rival or the competition there to kind of spur you on as well, isn't it? And I think
100%,
that
yeah.
if you're kind of sometimes on your own lane, or there's only just one of you in that in that type of work, there is a danger of just feeding your ego and say, yeah, I've made it.
Yeah.
Have you ever, because obviously I see your socials, I see what the venues that you're playing, the networking, the circle that you're in, the people around you guiding you in the right way. How do you keep yourself grounded in that side of it? Because you obviously got your brother there, but you're going to be at times on your own, and sometimes people can fall off very, very quickly. So how do you kind of keep yourself grounded in that way?
Bro, for me, I feel like every time I tell myself why I'm doing it, that's what keeps me grounded. Because it comes again, like, from people telling you, "Oh yeah, you're better than this person. You're doing this better. You're doing that better." Loads of people praise you. Not enough people will give you that sort of, "Nah, you're not doing this properly." So there's a lot of people around you that might be sort of, you could say, yes men, like just always giving you compliments and stuff. You got to recognize that as well. But through that, you tell yourself, like, what are you doing? Why am I doing this? Because sometimes it comes down to like, you can fall off in focus as well. Like, obviously I'm trying to get myself out there, but you lose focus and you might start thinking of other options of what you should be doing in life or what you could be doing. That's why I always remind myself, like, look, I'm doing this for fun. This is my passion from young. And for me, regardless if I'm with 10 people or if I'm by myself, that sort of attitude for me of me learning from everyone and wanting to do this for fun has to stay. And obviously, you have to keep God in mind as well, and understand that you're in this whole situation, or whatever you're experiencing is temporary. It's never going to last. You're obviously going to go one day as well. So it's better to have good energy around you and sort of carry that forward, instead of sort of looking at things or getting to that point where you start involving yourself with ego too much. Because sometimes you get into ego and you don't realize it yourself. That's why it's good to have a network around you or good people around you to tell you, like, yo, like, you need to relax. But if no one's around you, you have to know yourself as well from the start. Like, to keep yourself humble.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you guys a question at each of you, because I want to kind of get in my head in terms of the styles of music and where my predictions of where both of you are going to go in your careers in the future. So I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah. What's your top 3 favorite singers, top 3 favorite albums? So, hey, H, you go first because obviously just answer the last one, so then it just give me a chance. Because for me, I'm gonna be able to kind of work it out.
So what are we talking Punjabi or like?
It could be anything. You could add it. You could say UK. You could add more if it's Punjabi's different to your hip hop stuff, for example.
So for Punjabi, I think two of the main ones, because I love folk music, are Kuldeep Monica and Surinder Shinda. So I love their music. So they're gonna be in the top two, and then third one's hard, man. It's really hard because I picked two old school. I feel like I need to pick a new school one. I'm really into, obviously, Karan Aujla's one up there. Sidhu Moosewala, he was up there as well. I think they were the main two of this era for me that were quite up there. In terms of albums, this is a hard question for me.
Thanks, man. That's why I asked it.
Oh God, you need to come back to me. You might as well tell me.
Just you go first and just get him some time.
All right, I'm gonna answer my artist and then go back to his albums.
Yeah.
For me, bro, it's Sarjeet Bindrakia, vocalist. You got
Oh.
Hello. Sorry, I just froze.
Yeah, I lost you. I just got you. Bindrakia. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So Bindrakia, Sidhu Sikandar, and I'd say Surinder Shinda. Yeah.
Right. Albums. Come on then.
Okay, so I'm gonna say just because he was like one of the first kind of people to bring the hip hop element into Punjabi, I'm gonna say Word Is Born. That was one of them.
That's one of mine as well. So yeah.
I'm gonna guess the next two. I'm gonna say you're gonna think of a PMC.
I was actually gonna say
Then
something.
either it's gonna be. I don't think you're gonna go Bali Sagu route. I think you might. I'm gonna
We
guess.
just said that. Yeah.
Did he say that?
No, Onkar just said True School. I just told him we just said that.
Yeah.
I was gonna go for an English album actually.
The Chronic.
Chronic is up there. Chronic is up
Oh,
there.
you
I was gonna do
Sloop.
oh, which one? Illmatic is up there. No, he's one of my
Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac as well. Well, there's so many I can't choose. Like
It's just.
I like Drake's Take Care album as well. That was really good.
oh yeah. Drake's one of my top ones, current ones.
Yeah.
He's good. There's loads, man.
Yeah, we listen to everything.
But
Yeah, no, it's
even-
good because if sometimes if you carry this on, your age kind of lets you down in terms of what's more relevant. Because either you stick with some of your old school kind of.
Because it's not even like one genre that I listen to. It used to be only like Punjabi and hip hop, but now I'm into like so many other things like garage or recently like Amapiano. I wasn't even into Amapiano, but getting into that drum and bass as well recently. So if I like to hear it, I like it. So I don't care about the genre.
I'm gonna ask you guys a really difficult question now. It's something that I'm preparing a rant on later, but there's a current trend now where let's say people who are top of the tree who have made it are starting to do a bit of a no media policy. What's your opinions on that? Where they're basically refusing to do interviews and just kind of releasing on their own channels. What's your opinion?
Really depends, to be honest. Like, it depends on the artist, I reckon. For example, like, I know AP, he doesn't do many interviews. He's done his own, obviously, documentary. He's sort of kept that sort of image, but it's what works for the artist. If he's got that traction and people are seeing that, or he's exclusive, or you're exclusive in that way, you get more of a demand. And for him to sort of jump from Canada to straight into like Bollywood and be in that sort of circle, it just shows that whatever he done, it worked for him. And then you've obviously got people that have so much talent that they can't not do an interview because people want to know like how they're getting there. For example, like Sidhu Moosewala, he's done so many interviews, even though he was on talk shows that people talk down on him as well. Like after he had those sort of politics and stuff, but he done every single interview. But it worked for him because it showed people what he. It just
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
yeah. I was saying basically it shows people who he is as a person, and that is what people relate to. So both way it works, but it depends on you, your personal sort of preference on how you want to sort of move in the industry.
Yeah, my particular thoughts on it is that if you any artist, you'll get an anomaly. Let's say AP is the anomaly, really, where to go to get a Netflix documentary, to do all Forbes, to do everything. But everybody else, the biggest artists, always started at a base in it. And if you're not feeding your own industry and those content creators, you're going to kill the next gen of those people.
Yeah.
And then who are they going to cover the next people like yourselves in it? If you haven't got those channels or anything to kind of feed on, or you're not getting support from, let's say, the mainstream channels or radio stations, what are you gonna do there? Because you can get lost in the noise then, and then you're paying on an algorithm. You ain't got the resources around it. Those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, for example, you've got do you know what? I always watch to get inspiration. I always watch people that I like. So for example, Sulu Sekandaji, like he's got so many videos of him just doing a mehfil and sort of speaking to the people around him in that sort of jam that they're having, like, oh, this is what you do, talking about his stories, where he came from, how he sort of improved himself, and just listening to them and stuff like that. And it's like they retain so much knowledge that they can't, like, if they were to just live their life and not give a part of themselves to the world and showcase that, we wouldn't be inspired. We would just see them as like, oh, that's a great singer. But the younger generation, they need to know, like, okay, cool, like he done that, I can relate to that because he grew up like that and I grew up like this as well. So it's relatable. So it kind of becomes like you've got a guidance from someone that is not in your life, but because you hear what they're saying to the world, you can relate to that. And it sort of carries you on.
Yeah, so the technology in terms of that, we're kind of recording legacy stories, and one of the true reasons why doing a podcast was trying to get people to tell their stories before there's no record or able to kind of as a natural hub to get that information.
Yeah.
But kind of linking to technology, and more for kind of H on this one, but. We've seen a lot of innovation, especially around AI technology and tracks and people who've passed away using their voices and stuff like these. How you've come at a very innovative time where you're releasing and working together with people. How has AI affected your work stream in particular?
For me, so when I actually started learning music, AI wasn't like the musical part where they're doing all these different voices. It wasn't around then, so I was kind of just learning myself. This only came in like the recent times, really, the past year and a bit. It's like when you hear it, it's like it's cool when you hear like someone's voice and someone's voice, but it is like a lot of the time you're kind of ruining the song. And I know that recent one where it was like Sidhu Musiala's parents didn't really. So yeah, people should respect that. I think obviously it's their own kind of personal thing. In terms of affecting my workflow, I think at the moment it's not really affecting me as much. However, I think going in the future, I've seen like a lot of AI stuff where the singer doesn't need a producer. You just tell the AI, oh, just make this beat, and it makes the beat. So as producers, it's like, are we going to be needed anymore in the future? So I
can see that domestic coming up.
It's a weird one. So I'm not really a big fan of it because I feel like it's all computerized and you're not giving much thought into it, because obviously music is what you think in the time, what you feel, and a computer can't really do that for you, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think it's the genie's out of the bottle on that now. I think you've probably already seen. I already know people who've actually used it, and they have mentioned it. Well, loads of people have used it and kind of had off-air conversations or phone conversations as well. And the risk is of those people who learnt the instruments, before it was just a computer program, and now you've got actual software, AI software, who can dedicate time and build that kind of specialism in this. So there's another layer of barriers or challenges to kind of, to work through. So you've come probably at the most innovative point in Gates, especially, and probably the most crucial parts. Is there any people, producers or singers or duets that you guys want to work with as well?
No, sorry, guys.
No, you good.
But
For me, bro, like, I don't really, like, for me at the moment, I'm not really thinking of it at the moment. I'm just like trying to sort of get myself out there. But I'd love to sort of work with UK sort of artists as well, in terms of, I'm talking about like, so the English sort of scene, just to sort of experiment with what we can still do, because there's still such a big gap in terms of who we can work with. You got obviously a lot of, like, you've got Diljit working with like these American artists now as well. So that gap is slowly starting to be filled, and it's not like we need to do that. It's just, what would it sound like if we did do that? So I feel like when the right time comes, you sort of know, oh, I really want to work with this person or the other person. But at the moment, I'm just trying to sort of focus on my sort of own music at the moment, and then hopefully in the future we get an idea of who we want to work with.
Hey, who do you want to? What's the dream collab? Apart from your brother, of course.
I'd love to work with Karan Aujla though one day.
Yeah, so at the moment, obviously, I'm happy with what I've got at the moment. I'm not like, oh, I really want to work with this artist, because obviously I'm working with my brother, and I'm working with a couple other artists at the moment as well. So working on a few songs already. What in the future, what I would really want to collab with, Karan Aujla is one of them. Obviously, he's out there. I love him. He's out there. There's people like, I don't know, it's just some mainstream artists really. It's like AP, you got Karan Aujla, you got these other Punjabi, like, Ami Virks out there. He's quite good. Yeah, like, I think at the moment Karan Aujla would be at the top.
Yeah,
someone I really want to work with.
It's mad, isn't it, where you see some of these artists now who have kind of forming in their own lanes now, and how things are kind of opening up for them as well.
Yeah. And Diljit as well. Diljit's up there.
Yeah, I think he's again gone onto another level now.
Yeah, he's on a different level.
He's just jumping dimensions.
It's hard, isn't it? Because, like, I think what he's good at is in terms of where you always see some people who are mainstream art, who've become from the scene, jumped into the mainstream, and they never put their arm back to help other people. And whereas I think with Diljit, there's still got that little bit of class where he goes forward, and every time he's going up a level, he's still dragging people with him, and dragging that industry with him as well, alongside it, considering he's got very little competition with him as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to necessarily make songs. He's got a very successful kind of film career as well at the same time.
100%, yeah. I feel like he's doing it really smart as well, because as much as you get these controversial political things that you can't say certain things because obviously you got the government back home watching you all the time, he's doing it in a smart way where, like, through his movies and how he's portraying like Punjabis and obviously Sikhi and stuff as well, like he's putting it out there in obviously he's painting the picture for everyone, like, in a good way. And I feel like people don't really realize that, or it might go over their head, like why he's doing it, because they're just like, oh, but why is he not saying this on social media? Like, you should be supporting X, Y, Z. But people don't realize that he's also, like, made a name for everyone. Like, he's put us up there as well, to the whole world. So yeah. Yeah,
there is a risk of that kind of digital legacy, isn't it? So, like, where somebody said something before, it gets dragged up a little bit later. You guys are early on in your careers as well. Like, how conscious of you are you of that?
I like to be very conscious. Like I said, like, from young, I was always watching everything. So I don't like to speak first. I'm just, okay, let me just see what everyone's saying. Because there's no point. There's no point of being the loudest person and like putting your like mind out there, because next day you might think different. So you
Yeah.
might have that confidence of saying something to someone or about something, and then like 2 months later, a year later, you're completely the opposite person. But that's why you got to be careful of what you say, how you portray yourself and stuff. Yeah.
H has got that. I don't give a fuck. Look,
No. I'm pretty much, I'm similar as well. Like on social media, I'd post stuff like obviously like the music or whatever events, but I wouldn't really, post opinions of what I think, because obviously what happens. Like you said, in the future someone might pull that and say, "Oh, you said this at this time." That's why I don't really put opinions up on social media. It's just literally just work, like the life, like what I'm doing at the time. That's really what it is.
so for both of you, then what does the next 6 to 12 months look like for you guys?
Releasing a lot of music, a lot of content.
Working on music. For me, I just want to put out, like, I've got so many ideas that I feel like that have not been done before that I want to put out. Like, for example, this Jugni track, obviously the music is inspired from Amapiano, which is South African house. I've been listening to that way before it was like sort of mainstream, because sort of one of my closest friends, he's from like half South African, half Portuguese. So he introduced me to a lot of music as well. So I've got loads of inspirations and ideas of, oh, do you know what? This will sound so good on like different genre of music, that I just want to put it to sort of action and show it to the world, really, and go from there. But definitely a lot more music coming. We're working on our second track together. That is in the works, and yeah, we've got loads of other people that we're sort of hoping to work with musically and stuff. So yeah, you're hearing a lot of more music in the next year to come as well.
And yourself?
Yes, similar. So like I said, we're working on the second track. I'm working with some other artists as well. You may or may not have heard of them. Well, you probably have. So that's coming out soon as well. Working with another one of our close friends, releasing a track with him soon. And bro, same with me. I've got so many ideas. Like I've just got over like 200 files on my computer of just like ideas of what I can do. So loads of ideas out there. So a lot of new content coming in the new year.
Yeah. It's definitely stuff that I feel like not many people will be like, oh, it's definitely something you'll say, oh, I've never heard this before.
Oh yeah, I mean that's good. I mean to keep pushing those barriers and keep pushing those ceilings is the only way that you smash them and go through and bring a culture with you as well. So fair play to both of you on that. Final question, because I know you guys are gonna go off and do whatever you got to do, and I know Onka's waiting as well patiently. So this is called a bandwagon. And this is an opportunity where I give the guest a bandwagon that they want to jump on, a bandwagon that they want to jump off, or anything that they want to get off their chest. This is their space to do so. So I'm going to open it to both of you.
What, anything in particular, or like just
anything that you want to get off?
Anything.
Wasn't prepared for this.
I was not prepared for that either. This has caught me off.
But that's how you get the raw. You get the raw answer.
Yeah. What can I say?
Free Palestine.
Yeah, free Palestine.
So the politics side of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, it's easy to say something and sort of you get so many opinions and everyone like talking about, oh, this is right, that's wrong and stuff like that. But look, end of the day, I feel like with everything that's happening in the world, like if you look into a bit more deeper, you'd understand like there's a lot more to it than people think. But I definitely think that, look, for me, no matter what happens, no matter where I go, what I want to do is inspire people or move people with music, and I'd sort of put a message out to people to look deeper than what is out there that we're being distracted by, like all these things that we have outside of our own body. We should start looking inside more to connect with ourselves and that comes through, obviously, you can say meditation, and it comes a lot through music as well. So I just always tell people, like, connect with yourself, like, always inspire to be more than what you are right now, because you don't want to limit yourself, and always limit the people you hang around with. Like, experience more things, hang around with new people, get new experiences, network, build with people, and yeah, just enjoy yourself and live a life where you can look back and be like, yeah, I had a great life, like, loving memories and stuff, you know.
Wise words, man. Yourself?
Well, I've still not thought of anything, man. I don't know what to say.
You still think of the 200 files?
I know. I
Good
don't
for
know.
everyone.
Just don't sleep on good music. Really, to everyone. You know, there's a lot of good music out there. There's a lot of good artists that are releasing music but are just not known. But they, like we were talking about earlier, like, they don't have the social media networking or following. So I think people just don't sleep on them. People should just start networking, go to events, and help each other as well.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like people need to start supporting more, because it might be that, for example, I like an artist, but because no one knows him and he doesn't have a big following, or her, people tend not to support. And then when they start getting a bit of traction, that's when everyone starts coming out of the woodworks and it's like, oh yeah, remember me, and stuff like that. And like, you should start supporting more people, especially in our community, from the very start, especially if they've got talent and you know that they're really good.
Well, I think especially on that last note about the unity and bringing it forward, and especially kind of the youngers are bringing that attitude. It's always refreshing to do, especially with some people in the older parts of the industry, you know, can't operate like that. But it's really refreshing to see you guys working together and not taking the shortcuts and trying to bring that unity in there, because it is needed. And fair play and respect to both of you. So thank you for joining me on this one. The door's always open for you guys, especially on the podcast. Anything you need for me to help push, just say the word, and I really appreciate you taking this time out.
Now, thank you to yourself as well, and we appreciate, obviously, you giving us the time. But next one, definitely, bro. We got to get Ogar on there.
Yeah. He's coming in. I need to get hair and makeup in for myself, and that it's quite intimidating.
That's it. Yeah.
Respect.
But definitely, we'll meet up as well.
Yeah.
At some point.
No problem. We get it. You know, Midlands is the don for that. So
no problem, bro.
Definitely.
All right, man. Safe.
Take care,
bro. Thank you.
Bye.